Scott County, providing safe, healthy, and livable communities. Welcome to the Scott County's Child Care Licensing online information session, which has been developed for those of you who are considering a career as a licensed in-home child care provider. There are 7 short modules that you will need to watch. The information presented in each of the modules is information that we are confident will help answer questions that you may have. The information will also help you decide if this profession would be a good fit for you. You must watch all 7 modules in order to complete the information session. In each module, one screen will be dedicated to a code word. You will need to keep track of these code words, as they will be important once you have watched all 7 modules. Let's now take a look at Module 5.
There will be 2 separate inspections on your home prior to being licensed. The first will be conducted by a fire marshal. This inspection will be looking more at the bones of your home and any safety concerns that would not meet the fire marshal's safety regulations. For example, they will check window size, deck safety, sheetrock, and smoke detectors. Once the fire marshal completes their inspection, they will generate a report listing all of their repair suggestions. However, there will be a second inspection that will be completed by your licensor. Prior to receiving your license, the licensor will come to your home and will complete a home safety checklist to make sure that you meet all of the safety requirements that have been listed in Minnesota statute and the licensing rule. These safety concerns are in addition to the fire marshal inspection because it will look at the safety of your home in relation to a license that allows you to care for children. Some safety regulations covered in this visit include having outlets covered, hazardous materials inaccessible, safety gates by stairs, and firearm regulations. Every room that you're going to use for your program will have to have all outlets covered. This could include bedrooms, living rooms, and the den. Additionally, any outlet on countertop level will have to have outlets covered. This includes both kitchen and the bathrooms. Every room in your program will need to have 2 means of escape. Typically, the 2 means of escape will include a window as one and the door of the room as the second. The one exception is the bathroom. When you're looking at each of the rooms in your program, you will also need to make sure each of the windows meet code requirement for size of window. These requirements have already been determined by the state fire marshal. They have created these guidelines so that if you were to have a fire in your home, the windows would be able to accommodate a firefighter who is wearing full gear. In the kitchen, you must have a fire extinguisher. The rule says that you must have a 2A10 BC or larger. If you already have a fire extinguisher, you will need to get it serviced so that they can make sure that the chemicals are still good. If you do not have one, you will need to buy one and tape the receipt to the extinguisher and mark the date on the receipt as well. Also, it is suggested that you mount the extinguisher as if it gets knocked over and stored on its side, the chemicals will not mix properly upon use. In order for them to work, they must be upright. All hazards need to be inaccessible. If you store cleaning supplies in a lower cupboard, you will need a safety latch on the door. If those hazardous materials are in an upper cupboard, the height would be inaccessible and thus no door latch necessary. Counter level is considered accessible, so if you have a nice butcher block, it will need to be removed from the countertop. If your garbage is the only thing in a cupboard, you will not need a latch on it. If your garbage can is freestanding, it must have a lid. Items to think about in the bathroom would be razors, hot irons, and mouthwash. We do check water temperature. It cannot be more than 120 degrees. The bathroom door needs to have an unlocking device on it. This is for the purpose if a kiddo gets mistakenly locked in. Some providers have hung a key along the door frame, which is easy and accessible quickly in the event of an emergency. All children need to have their own cups, utensils, and towels. Many use color coding as it is easy for children to remember. If you do not want to supply separate towels, you may use paper towels instead.
The fifth code word is licensing.
If your basement is unfinished and you have insulation on the walls, the insulation needs plastic covering on it. Your furnace must be inaccessible with an 18-inch clearance around it. Some providers have used a gate for this purpose. While in your basement, if there is a space under your stairs, and that space has a door for access, and in that space you have storage, you must have sheetrock under the stairs. The sheetrock acts as a barrier for fire travel. Your garage door needs to have a sensor to open back up if any obstructions come in its path. If you have an attic in your garage and there is an opening for access, this always has to have the ability to be closed up. This could be as easy a solution as having a piece of sheetrock that can be pushed up in the tiles in the ceiling. Again, this acts as a fire barrier. The circuit panel needs to be easy to access. You must have at least 30 inches of clearance around the panel, which means you cannot have anything in front of it. If something would need to be moved in order to gain access, it cannot be there. If you have a wood-burning fireplace and you would like to use it during your program hours, you are encouraged, not required, to have an annual chimney sweep. If it will be on during the day while children are present, we require that a solid gate be put up around the fireplace to eliminate access. A propped-up gate in front is not acceptable. An actual gate would need to be attached to the wall and attached to the fireplace to ensure that no child can pull the gate away. Additionally, if you have a home that uses a flip switch to turn on the fireplace, then you must have a plate cover on the switch so that the children won't be able to flip that switch. Smoke detectors must be on all levels of your house, including basement. They need to be replaced every 10 years. Carbon monoxide detectors are required to be within at least 10 feet from all sleep areas and also need to be replaced every 7 years. Regarding stairs in your home, the important ages to remember are 6 months to 18 months. If you have kids in your care that are 6 to 18 months, you will need to have gates on your stairs at the top and bottom, depending on where you are at the time. If you have a split-level home, you will not need to have gates on the main landing because it is assumed that an adult will be with each child during the process of drop-off and pick-up. The biggest confusion around this rule is based on children's abilities. Some kids at 7 months are not mobile, and thus providers have no gates up, or a 14-month-old that has mastered the stairs and no gate up. Both are out of compliance because of the state age rule. A handrail must be installed if stairs are present. More to come on this later. Thank you for watching the 5th module today. Remember, you must watch all 7 modules and then email the code words to Scott County Licensing to be scheduled for your in-person orientation at Scott County.